Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and it's not alright. It's not alright. This video is a patron choice, supported by William Adams, Kate Neal, Ava and Archie. Thank you so much guys for your support. Hello and welcome to All Around the Board. Today we're going to be taking a look at Solar Storm. It's a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players, designed by Ayden Lowther and published by Dranda Games. In Solar Storm, your ship has been knocked out and you're heading towards the sun. Now that red zone is not somewhere you should have gone in the first place, so it's up to you as your team to get everything back online and get away as quickly as you can before you get burnt by the sun. In today's video I'll be doing a very brief playthrough where I'll teach you how to play the game and so that you can get an idea of how a turn works. After that, at the end of the video, I'll be giving my opinion on the game, so sit back, relax, grab a drink, but don't sit under the sun because you don't want to get burnt like these guys. Okay, so we're going to show you how to play this game. Now, I'm going to run through the setup very quickly with you just to make sure that you've maybe got everything right. So let's start off with the die, pop that to one side. You want these counters and the +1 counters over to one side for now, we'll get to those later. You want to shuffle the entire resource deck, deal out 2 into the supply, and give out some cards to each player. In this game we're going to be playing with 2 players. This does not come with the game, it's just to indicate that this is Red's area, and this is to indicate this is Blue's area, just for the sake of cards that we're collecting. Now if you're playing a 2-player game, each player gets 4 cards. If you're playing a 3-player game, each player gets 3 cards, and if you're playing a 4-player game, you get 2 cards each. There are yellow and black that you can play as, but we're going to be using red and blue for today's video. Okay, so you've done your resources. Make sure you get your protection cards so you can put them off to one side, and just make sure the matching token goes with the matching card. Then you will take the energy core and place all player meeples in the middle, and then you're going to shuffle the other 8 cards and put them around the energy core, as you can see here. Then we're going to separate all the damage cards into their level 1, their level 2 and their level 3. You're going to take all the level 1s and give them a shuffle. Then you're going to take the level 2s and give them a shuffle also. And you're going to take your level 3s and give those a shuffle as well. Now I know I didn't shuffle them, but it's quite hard to shuffle with just one hand. As soon as your level 1, 2 and 3 are in their separate piles, just deal out 2 level 3 cards, and these are the rooms that are going to take damage for the setup. So in this order we're going to do the engine room, armory and so on until we go down. So on here it tells me that I need to damage the engine room, and you'll take 1 cube off of the top of that room. Then it says armory, cargo, hold and bridge, so I'll just go ahead and do cargo, hold, armory and the bridge. Then we need to damage the engine room again, and then the crew quarters. Now it can be that a room on the setup does take 2 damage from the get-go, and we'll just get rid of crew quarters there. So once we've damaged these rooms, this is what the board will look like. So you have got a couple of rooms with 2 damage, they've got 1 damage, and some will still be fully repaired. But we're going to go to how we repair these in a moment. As soon as you've done the setup damage, take the level 3 cards and place them on top of the whole breach card. Take the level 2s and place them on top of the level 3s. And then finally take the level 1s and put them on the top there, and that creates your damage deck. And finally give each player a reference card. Now these are double-sided for each player, but for the purpose of this video I've got phase 1 on one side for blue, and Reds is going to show off the phase 2 so we can reference these throughout the video. Okay, so what is the aim of the game? The aim is we need to get all these diverted energy tokens on the 8 surrounding rooms. We need to get back to the middle and spend 1 action to win the game. So we need to get all the diverted power and get the energy core back online to escape. Now, there are two ways we can lose. You can lose if this deck runs out, and we can lose if one of the rooms has no damage cubes on and it takes a further damage. In Solar Storm, players will take turns to do phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3. As soon as they've done that, it will go to the next player in clockwise order, and you continue until you either win or likely lose the game. In this example, red is going to go first, and there's a whole host of actions they can do in phase 1. You have to take 3 actions. Now, for red, I'm not going to explain all the actions individually. I'm going to explain them as we do them. So the first one there is move. We are going to move red, and I'm going to move them up 1. So it is 1 action movement to move up, down, left or right. And I'll spend a second action and I'm going to move over to crew quarters. As my third action, because I don't have a green and I haven't got the resources to repair yet, I'm going to do the save action. So to save an action, you simply get one of these +1 tokens and put it in front of that player. So you can see there that red has a +1. The +1 tokens allow you to do extra actions on future turns. Given that they were the 3 actions that red could do, we're then going to move on to phase 2. Phase 2 there says take 1 face-up card or 2 cards from the resource deck. So I'll come over to here. That means I either take 1 of these face-up or I can take 2 off the top of the deck. Now I'm going to take 2 just so that I can get a good choice of cards. So I got myself a red and a green. Now really, I should have got a purple, but that's not a problem because I'm hoping that I can get one off of blue in a moment. So then we go on to phase 3. It says remove the uppermost cube from each stated room. We go to the damage deck and we reveal the top damage card. Now they're going to start as level 1s, nice and easy, but then they go into the level 2s and the level 3s as you saw from the setup. So this one here says repair center. So we go over to the repair center and just like the beginning of the game, you damage a room from top to bottom. If it was the case of this situation, then you would just remove that middle cube. So now that I've taken that, just pop the cube over to one side where it can be used and keep all damaged cubes nearby the board, unlike what I did and I put them all the way over there. So that is it for red's turn. They did 2 moves, they saved an action, they took the 2 resources off the top of the deck and they removed the top damage card. So now we're going to move on to blue's turn. You can see this funky looking card here. It's a universal card which counts as any resource for when you repair or divert power to a room. So let's look at what blue's going to do. Now they haven't got a lot of resources, but they might be able to repair something. It's a case of looking at what they have, looking at where they can go to and see what they can repair around them. Now it might be a good idea to potentially maybe move up, and then move up to red. And then I'll tell you what, for the purpose of this video, we're going to share a resource action for the third. So blue player can share this and they can give it over to red as long as they're in the same space, which they are. It goes into their supply. Now a big thing is players can only ever have 6 cards at any one time. If ever you go over more, like here you've got 7, you have to discard 1 straight away. Now as good as that might seem, because you know I had lots of red, the quicker we go through that deck, the easier it is for us to lose. So they are my resources there, and that is what blue is left with. They've done their 3 turns, so they go ahead and do phase 2, and I'll tell you what, they're going to take 2 cards as well and put that into their supply. A lot of red coming out this game. Then they do the damage, and again we're going to flip the top card there, and it's the cargo hold. So we go over here and we do cargo hold. Okay, so it's back to red's turn. So looking at the wonderful amount of cards we have here, surely we can do something, and we can. So looking up on the top right there, we need a green card to repair the room. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that as my first action. So I'm going to get rid of that one to the discard, and we're going to repair that room by putting a cube just up here. Now because that room is fully repaired, we can now go ahead and do the divert room power action. To divert the power, you must make sure that it's fully repaired and that you have the resources on the left hand side to do that. So in this one, I need 2 red and 1 purple. So I'm going to go to here, I'm going to spin my 2 red and my 1 purple, get rid of those to the discard pile, and I'm going to get one of these tokens and put it onto here. Now, Diverted Power not only is one of the game conditions, but it does make it easier to repair rooms. So let's say, for example, all 3 of these tokens had been removed because of all the damage it's taken. Instead of it taking 1 action per section to repair, I only need 1 of the 3 colours, or if there was 2 remaining, 1 of the 2 colours to fully repair the room. So, the more of these we divert, the easier it is to actually repair rooms, which is quite handy. Now, that is done. I believe that was just 2 actions from red. And for the 3rd action, I think we're going to save another action. So, this was from last turn, this is from this round, but I can save them for as long as I need to until I want to spend them. That is red's turn, so now we're going to go ahead and do phase 2. Take 1 face up, 1 from the supply. This time I'm going to show you, I'm going to take 1 from the supply and you simply just refill it after you're done. Then we're going to go to phase 3 again, and we are going to flip the top card and we're going to damage the armory, so that comes off there. Okay, so then it's back to blue's turn. Now, for the purpose of this video, again, we're going to show you one of the other actions, which is activate a room. So blue's going to move down to the mess hall, and you can do the action of the card, but only if the room is fully repaired. So on the right hand side, you can see it's got its 3 cubes, and under here it says give, take, or exchange a resource card with another player. Normally you need to be on the same space, but that just says give, take, or exchange a resource with a card. Now you can exchange in this one, which is quite interesting. So I can come over to here, and potentially maybe I need another purple for whatever's sake. They're going to exchange purple for a red, or they could have just taken the purple, or they could have just given out the red. However you want to do that, that's how that works. And yeah, they can be quite handy, but unfortunately it needs to be fully repaired for you to do that action. Now, there is a 3rd action that blue has, and we're going to show you the final action that we haven't done this playthrough yet, and that is the scavenge action. So, to scavenge, it's a little bit of luck. Sometimes, well, especially me, I get bad luck, but we'll simply roll the die, see what the result is. That's quite a good result. Now, on a 3, 4 or a 5, I get to take 1 card. That can either be random off the top or 1 off the selection. If I roll a 6, I get to take 2 cards, but it doesn't say where from. So I could take 1 from here, you'd fill it up, and then I could take a 2nd card from there if I wanted, or I could have taken 1 off of the top. It's worth noting though that if I rolled a 1 or a 2, oh well, yeah, according to this I get nothing. Excellent. So now I've shown you all the actions, I've shown you how to take resources, and I've shown you how to damage the ship. So for now, I think that's going to be the end of the playthrough of Solar Storm, just for today. If you guys have any questions about what you've seen, please feel free to ask me in the comments below, or ask on one of my social media pages as extra support for this game. But I'm not going to continue the playthrough just because I think I've shown you enough, and I want you guys to discover the rest for yourselves. Now, it is worth noting as well before we go, if ever you run out of damage cards, you will get to this whole breach card, and simply instead of damaging a room, you'll do the whole breach action. You'll roll the die, see what number you get, and depending on what number is how many cards you discard off the top of the deck. So yeah, you won't take any more damage on rooms, but you're gonna get through that deck pretty quickly, especially if you're anything like me and roll 6 every time. But for now, we're going to go on to my views of Solar Storm. So the huge question, is Solar Storm a game for you? If you're into your cooperative games such as Pandemic and Forbidden Island, then this game is absolutely for you. There are a lot of similarities in the games themselves, however there's one big thing in this game that personally I like and makes it stand out from the rest. That's simply the save action. The fact that if you don't know what to do on your turn, in the other games, co-op games that you've seen before, you kind of do actions for the sake of doing actions. In this one, if you get to that situation, save actions, give yourself some extra things to do on future turns. And a little bit about the theme. I love that it's a space theme. I don't think I've seen many of these types of games set in space yet. I think we've had Forbidden Sky, but I don't think that quite counts. I like how thematic this actually is. It feels like you are very tense on a ship heading towards the sun. Everything's being destroyed. So I really love the theme in this one. And a big note about portability. Now, look at the size of the box compared to all these other boxes that you could get. It's a small box game, and there's a lot of game in such a small box. As much as I am a fan of games such as Pandemic, I think this is going to be my new go-to cooperative game. I hope you've enjoyed the video all about Solarstone. For now, it's going to go back on the shelf, and I'm probably going to go and review one of these games behind me. But in the meantime, please follow myself on Twitter, Instagram and on the Facebook page. Don't forget to subscribe and maybe check out my Patreon page, where on there the lowest tier is £1. You can help support me in making more of these videos, and there's some higher tiers if you'd like some extra benefits there. But for now, I will catch you on the next video.